Welcome to the Undrafted Uncensored cast of Pod. Hosted by Nick Archuleta. Mosted by Colin Zanger. And last but certainly is least, Joseph Goodwin.
To the Undrafted Uncensored, a part of the E5280 Sports Network, where we know better than to kick a field goal down 21-3.
Speak for yourself.
I was like, what if that won a parlay? What if someone just needed a field goal? I don't think anybody knows better.
Who's betting on the Raiders?
I bet against them. I was happy. The Bears were plus money. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I definitely had the Raiders defense in fantasy that week because the Bears were starting an undrafted Division II. Damn it.
Who lost the Colorado School of Mines? That should have been a hint.
He did.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a fantasy podcast that I listened to that was not ripping the Colorado School of Mines, but they're like, who the hell is the Colorado School of Mines?
Who
are these guys?
D2, baby.
And they've been talking about the Colorado School of Mines for the last week because of Badgett's playing or not Badgett. Badgett.
Yeah, Tyson Badgett.
Yeah. About him playing with the mine or against Mines and losing to them, and then they're like, I haven't even heard of these schools. Who the hell are these guys? And then they looked up the pictures because you guys have seen the pictures of the players for the Mines, right? They have all the really screwed up facial hair and everything. And they were like, who the hell? What is going on? And then they're like, their name should be the Gold Diggers, not the Ore Diggers. They're gold in.
Yeah, they could have a Kanye West song as a theme song. It'd be great.
That was mentioned too.
Yeah, no, I ain't saying she a gold digger.
And we'll leave it there.
Gentlemen, it's a good week. It's a victory week for us.
It is.
Can't go wrong with 3 wins over the weekend. Well, more than 3 wins over our weekend, but I mean, we'll start with each team won. But we're going to start with the biggest, most important one.
Some of us had more than 3 wins this weekend.
Oh, shut up. I got a little carried away with my parlays. Leave me alone. God, Mr. Almost all weekend long. It was so annoying. You know what wasn't annoying, though? Watching that banner go up. Watching those boys get their rings in front of that crowd. It was a little different, though, because it feels like when the Avalanche got theirs, it felt like a bigger production and like the fans were a lot more into it. I don't know if this was just like still kind of a shock factor where the fans just didn't seem as loud. I mean, nothing against Vic Lombardi. He kind of stayed the same through it. So there was like no real new hype to him. And so Colin, did you end up going?
No, I was at the station actually, because I was doing Game 7.
That's right. You did mention that. And so,
but I was there on Saturday night watching the Avs crush the Carolina Hurricanes, and I was just sitting there wondering the whole time. I'm like, where is this banner gonna go?
Yeah,
like there were 2 possible spots, and it's kind of like the Avs have their corner, like they have a whole side because they've won so many.
Yeah,
like they've got one like a quarter of the circle, and then the Mammoth have another quarter of the circle, and then there's like a fifth of that circle that's kind of Nuggets retired players, and then the other part is Avs jerseys retired. Sweaters. So I was like, where's it gonna go? What are they gonna do? So it's nice that they raised it and it's solo. It's not with anyone else's.
Yeah, as it should be.
Yes.
I don't know. I was kind of hoping to be more in the middle of like all the other banners and Nuggets have. Like they have the retired numbers, then they have all the almosts, and then right smack dab in the middle for everybody to see. It's just finally achieved the moment.
Champion.
We did it.
So I mean, they came out really good. It looks They look good. There didn't look like there was a hangover. I think part of that too has to do with a lot of these guys not playing in any summer leagues and opting to focus more on the repeat than they are country pride right now. Obviously, the Olympics and everything else is going to be something a little different.
I thought you were going to say focus on horse racing.
That horse racing falls into the other things category.
Okay.
It's still rest. I think it's crazy that the team that had the shorter offseason looked the most prepared, where the Lakers definitely looked a little bit more lethargic and a little bit more I wouldn't say that they looked or that they were being lazy, but it looked a little bit lazy at times, which is kind of what Jamal Murray said might happen to the Nuggets, and I saw none of that.
No, and I mean, the Lakers, obviously, they came out, they took the lead early, and I was listening to the game on the way home, and, the Lakers take that first lead in the first quarter. And I mean, it's no big deal because it's the first quarter, but it just didn't feel like the Lakers were going to be able to hold that for very long, if at all, and turns out they were able to hold it for about 2 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the Nuggets, they were ready. You saw when they got their rings. They just kind of wanted to play basketball. And you talked about it wasn't as big of a show. I think that was just the Nuggets. All right, we did it. We're done. That was the workman-like mentality that they went about the playoffs with. That was the goal from the start. They accomplished their goal. Now the goal is to do it again, which I like. And I think that it was kind of as much as I wanted it to be against Bones Highland and the Clippers and the Nuggets to all get their rings. Like, I just wanted Bones to sit there and not get a ring. It's nothing personal, but I just hate the way you treated the team, Bones. So I don't like you. So yeah, maybe it is personal.
It's nothing personal. I just don't like you.
Yeah. I think
change your personality.
Yeah, I think you
be different.
Acted like a kid on your way out. But I think some of that distraction was different than what the Avs had because they had Johnson on the other side who came and joined them all for that and the raising of the banner. And so there was still some emotions in that. And there was definitely emotion, but I think in basketball you have a smaller core too, and the main guys are all still there. And so they've all celebrated. They've had their excitement. Jokic got to go home. He survived the parade, and now he knows to get ready for another one.
Yeah.
Nothing
better than knowing what a parade is now.
One more time.
Wait, what do you mean? We have to stand around and watch these people yell for us again? I have horse. I need to take care of.
I want to fucking stay on parade.
What is parade? Oh man, I don't know. I like that they came out right away against the Lakers, got a win, and it was a dominant win. You had most of that second unit out there for the fourth quarter, pretty much. Just Joker was sitting on the score table for a long time wearing his sweats.
Yeah, and that's what you want. You want these guys. I mean, Reggie Jackson in the first half was hot, but you want to see that your backups can come in and play and do something. I mean, we did see them blow a 20-point lead, though.
Very true. Very true.
So, talk about welcome back, Nuggets. Welcome back.
There was that, I guess.
Let's not get into that habit again. I don't like it. That's one thing That's one thing I think I've learned with these Nuggets, honestly, to go to betting, is when that line gets up to like 23.5, just go bet the other team to cover, get the minus, get the plus number for whoever the hell they're playing. Yeah. Because the Nuggets are bound to blow it and let them get closer. I mean, there are not many times that they really blow out an opponent. I hope that changes this year.
That'd be great.
But in recent history, it's told me it won't change.
Sorry. Forgot one other thing.
Yeah, sadly, that has been a theme of the Nuggets. we even saw that in the bubble playoffs. Obviously mostly a different team, but going down 15, 20 points in that Clippers series, in the Utah series, and coming back and winning, especially down 3-1. Like it's almost like they have this feeling like, oh man, we're down 20. We got them right where we want them. Just lull them into a false sense of security. As long as you don't do it in the fourth quarter, I'm cool with it as long as we win.
I mean, as long as we win, but the problem is that we still don't. We mentioned it earlier, is that the team that had the longer, the shorter off season, longer season looked fresher. We don't want these guys having to play into the fourth quarter when they don't need to, especially with the chance of repeat and the injury history for guys like MPJ, Jamal Murray. You don't want to put any more hours or minutes on those legs going into a season where they look ready to repeat, in all honesty.
Oh, very much so. It was nice to see them just come out like that, and it felt like it just carried over. And there was turnover, but there's not a significant amount of change on that team. Obviously some guys are going to change spots and they're going to step up in the pecking order a little bit, i.e. Christian Brown. But in all reality, it's still pretty much the same team.
It is.
Yeah. Good.
No, I was just saying, yeah, it is. I mean, they kept the core.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, obviously Christian Brown's going to have to try to elevate and do a little bit more of that Bruce Brown-esque stuff, whether he can actually guard, positions 1 through 4 or 1 through 5 again, like Bruce Brown did, remains to be seen. But I'm just excited about what he can do, and I'm kind of intrigued just watching this bench and seeing which guys get minutes, which guys don't, what potential positions of need the Nuggets have, or if they can just kind of get away with doing a small ball lineup with Aaron Gordon at the 5 while Jokic rests. It's going to be fun to watch as the season goes on, just the little tweaks, the little things that Malone does here and there. And then obviously trade deadline, I'm pretty sure we're going to bring in some bench players here in Denver, and it's going to be fun to see. But I'm not going to overreact to game 1, but the Nuggets are going to win a championship again.
Christian swatted the hell out of LeBron.
Oh, yeah.
And then he tried to go up and under for a dunk later on against, I think it was Anthony Davis. It might have been Wood, but he went up, got it, and almost got back up to the rim for a dunk. Ended up getting foul. Missed the first free throw. But, yeah, I think he came back with some more determination. I don't think Christian wants to lose ever. He's one of those guys who just doesn't seem to take a night off, doesn't ever want to lose, always wants to punish anybody who's going up against him. It's good to see.
Yeah, it's
I love that two of his best highlights are against LeBron James and then stealing it from Kevin Durant. Like, those are pretty big things for a guy in his second year in the league.
Yeah. And this is a kid that came off of a college championship, rolls into the NBA as a rookie, pulls himself a NBA championship, and he's still showing he has plenty more to show us, and I love it. And
I mean, that's the way to do it.
I may end up with a Christian Brown jersey. Speaking of jerseys, did you guys see the new NBA City Connects?
Nope.
They are dumb, stupid, worthless, waste of money.
Not smart.
So they're all black.
Okay.
They have the kind of digital mountain skyline that the Nuggets have. That mountain is like chopped up kind of logo. And on the very front, you have the number right about here on the chest. And then right in the center of your belly, 5280. So you have basically 6 numbers on a uniform.
Great.
It looks dumb.
I don't see the new ones. Well, I'll have to keep an eye out for it.
I hit 24 because that's what popped up. We need.
Is that what they're called? City Connect?
Yeah.
The city jerseys. Yeah. Okay. Where's the 5280?
Should be right.
All I'm seeing is the old ones. I don't know.
I'm seeing the black with
for this.
Did you just send them to us?
No,
I'm pulling it up now.
Okay.
They're like all black, and
I mean,
I'll find it. I'll send it to you guys.
You know who was wearing a jersey coming into the stadium? That was one MPJ wearing a Broncos signed PFM.
Yeah, yep.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was pretty nice.
Even though I'm not a fan of wearing signed jerseys, but
I'm not either.
If you're gonna wear one, it might as well be a Broncos one.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Broncos, they snapped their home losing streak. It was at 3, and since 1960, the Denver Broncos have never lost more than 3 games at home. They've never lost 4 or more. And I was there to watch history again.
No, you were there. You were there to witness them not make history. There's a difference, Nick.
I told you they were going to win.
I said there was a chance that they could win, of course. And they did get kind of lucky too.
Of course, we groaned at you. Winning is bad right now.
So did the Packers. They got a little lucky too to even get that close. The Jaden Reed touchdown was a very lucky moment.
Absolutely. But yeah, no, Nick, you're acting like we groaned at you, like we thought that wasn't possible. Like, no, we just don't want to see that happen because we want the Broncos to actually be able to build something in the future.
But you need victories to do that too. You can't just keep losing.
No, you literally don't.
It taints everything too. You have to have some wins under your belt to maintain some sort of sense of humanity and potential. We lost 16 straight games. We all look like dick.
Yeah, that's how they've looked for 7 years.
But they've won still.
They've won a few. Yeah, and what has that gotten them?
Yeah, like
they've won a few.
It's going to make it worse if you continue to lose all the way through the season.
No, I know. But this is what I'm saying, Nick, is they've won a few games.
The mentality.
And where has that mentality gotten them in the last 7 years?
The mentality.
But you win and you change that, and that's what I keep telling you guys.
No,
you have to win to change it. Look how good little Mr. Number 1 draft pick looked last Saturday. Dude got eaten alive.
Which one?
Dude looked like he wasn't even ready to be number 1.
That's the Panthers.
No. He's talking about Caleb Williams.
Caleb
but what I'm saying is that the Broncos have won a few games over the last few years, and what has that gotten this team?
But there's been so much drama on top of it too that doesn't help either.
Of course, but those are two different things.
Yeah, no, they're not. They bleed into each other.
But where
works for a shitty boss?
But where did the winning help them in these last few years?
But they were working for shitty bosses too.
Yeah, but when you have better personnel working under a shitty boss, it's better.
No, it's not.
Depending on the personnel, if the inmates are running the asylum, it can be.
And once you get to a point where you
can have a crap
once
boss.
DGAF starts showing up, that's a problem.
That's already shown up. That's been there all year.
That's how they're trying to get rid of it. And a victory like that, you look at these guys. Look how different they were Sunday night into Monday compared to the last however many weeks.
Well, of course, because they finally won a game. Some of that pressure was lifted off their shoulders. Now they can go out and get the floor wiped by the Kansas City Chiefs.
They're not going to. You have enough momentum going into this Kansas City game.
Oh, my God.
They're going to make it look like a football game.
Oh, Nick.
Sure, maybe. But again, it doesn't matter. So you're saying you would rather have the 20-year span or 15-year span from 2000 to 2015 where the Broncos never made a Super Bowl, never had a high draft pick, never had a Super Bowl caliber team, but, we're 500 most of the time. We were still just as mad. We were still raging about how this team should be better and should be competing for Super Bowls and never were. That's what we're moving towards. And we're not even there yet because we don't even have the quality coaching that we had for that 15-year span in Mike Shanahan. We've seen what happens when you don't get quality draft picks. You can't win. The Broncos got extremely lucky getting
Who's Rod Smith?
Into a team like
what round did Rod Smith go?
What are you talking about?
Undrafted.
What about
who was this quarterback?
John
Elway. And guess what?
Yeah,
hang on. He was a first-round draft pick, but who picked him?
The Colts and the Broncos had to trade for him because he wouldn't play for the Colts.
Exactly. Yeah. So just because you had the number 1 draft pick doesn't mean you're going to guarantee it, i.e.
but where were the Broncos drafting in that draft?
I don't remember anymore.
they were in the top 10.
I think they were the third pick in the draft.
If they weren't
and they
that
had
high,
to swap
that trade
that
doesn't
pick
happen.
plus players.
Yeah.
So therefore,
that
goes even more to my point is that your higher draft pick has more capital for you to use to get a good player like a John Elway. Yeah, Caleb Williams didn't look good, but I'd much rather have Caleb Williams here and see if a new guy could be the quarterback for the team of the future rather than what we have right now in Russell Wilson.
I'm not saying I don't want that. What I'm saying is I want more than just one little change in a terrible season to be everything everybody's putting all their chips on. You can't put all your chips on one pile right now. You got to spread your chips around, and you got to change not only the team you have now, but you have to change the mentality for the future as well. And a number one draft pick is not going to be that soul saving piece.
No,
it's going to be a big part of it because you're getting rid of a lot of these players.
Yeah, those guys are not going to be here. And that number one pick counts in every round. You get the first pick in the second round, the first pick in the third round, the first pick in the fourth round. All of your picks are the best possible picks. Obviously, we're not getting the first overall pick now. That's pretty much done because we've won too many games, which is sad because that's going to make the rebuild that much more difficult. The rebuild that the Broncos have refused to go through for years, and the reason they've been mediocre the whole time is because they've refused to rebuild. That's the biggest reason. Is that they've just refused to be, kind of bad for a year or two, and then all of a sudden you figure it out. Like, I can't think of a single team that's been able to do that, get to the Super Bowl without having that huge number one pick. Even the Rams, who said F them picks, they had Jared Goff, who was the number one overall pick, and they moved him for Matt Stafford.
And they had number one picks as players on that team too.
Exactly.
They had top picks in the NFL draft on that team. But I want to go to something when you talked about you can't just do it with these players or you can't just do it right away. Yeah, it doesn't happen right away. That's one of the reasons why I said it's still going to take a few years.
Yeah.
But you need to capitalize on your first year's worth of draft picks. And you want to know how important the draft is to teams and to people who are drafted by the Broncos. Look at what happened to the San Francisco 49ers the last 2 weeks.
I was just
They lost their starting left tackle, top pick overall, and it has made Brock Purdy look like he shouldn't play. Not that he shouldn't play in the NFL. He's looked way worse than he ever has in his career. They have these guys in Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey, obviously a high first round pick. They have a loads of talented players on their team, and yeah, they're coached really well. They have a lot of next man up. They really choose their guys correctly.
And how did they build the core of their team? They were terrible when Garoppolo got hurt, and they took Nick Bosa, number 3 overall. Like that, you have to have at least 1 year of being terrible to really get those quality draft picks, and you have to have that draft work out for you too. You have.
Oh, that's right. We traded our first round draft pick for a coach that's a douchebag,
and our our team is so much worse because of it. Like that. Until Sean Payton proves me wrong, he was not worth that first round pick because you'd rather have a quality, awesome player and a coach that, and who knows, the coach is such a crapshoot anyway, man. Like it's sad because it's going to happen no matter what. And the longer you put it off, the worse it gets. So the more it's like, well, yeah, we need to win certain games here and there. No, we really don't. Like the only game I'd be okay with winning this year is Kansas City. Break that streak. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm going to be at the game on Sunday too. So they'll be rooting for it because I'll be there for sure. But at the end of the day, like those draft picks are worth more than that one win. If you get a quality team next year and you break that streak with that high caliber draft, then, oh man, we got something to talk about.
I don't know. I'm still gonna be that annoying guy. You guys are gonna hate me, and I know it. I don't care. I have a hard time accepting losing. We established.
I get it. And then just like Joe said, over these next few years, you're gonna continue to have these average seasons. If the Broncos continue,
but average can get you more too.
No, it can't.
There's still more potential than just straight out shitty.
No, what? How?
Because okay, at least if you're average and you're close, I think you can make better trades, or you can pull out some rabbits in him.
Okay. Hey, what happened to the Green Bay Packers?
They got rid of their star quarterback.
After how many years of losing in the playoffs?
after how many years of low first round picks. And they have
But they've been
problems too
making
because
the
they should have
playoffs.
taken
That's the difference.
receivers.
What happened to the Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson's former team?
They got Geno Smith.
After being years of average.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
yeah, okay, so
still
you
average.
want to be the Seattle Seahawks for the next 10 years?
And never win?
You want to be the Aaron Rodgers Packers who never make it back to the Super Bowl?
No, but
You
that's
be the New York Knicks?
that's also making moves that you need to make too, not just standing pat and thinking because you have two wide receivers that are big time players and a future Hall of Famer quarterback that you don't need to do anything else. How often did they make trades in season to fix what they need to fix?
Oh my God! How many times has Sean Payton made trades in season for you to believe that he's going to do that, Nick?
Yeah, he doesn't.
Come on.
The Seahawks traded Max Unger for Jimmy Graham from Sean Payton and the Saints. And Jimmy Graham went there, and the Seahawks offensive line suffered. And Russell Wilson never really needed that. No, he doesn't throw to tight ends anyway. Like, it's those little trades like that, it'll be fun for sure. But at the end of the day, you need that core of quality, talented players. And right now, the Broncos, they don't really have a core of talented players. They have like 2, maybe 3, but it's PS2 and Patrick.
You have maybe 3. That's a core.
Everyone else, that's not a core. You have 22 starters.
That's where you start your leadership, and that's where you start your mentality.
Nah, that's too little. That's a core on a basketball team, not a football team.
Well, you got to start somewhere. You can't start with one, obviously.
But they haven't even started yet. We have to start first. You have to pass go. You have to collect $200. You can't just stay in jail.
And so Sunday wasn't paying the bill to get out of jail to move on to the next piece.
Like what piece?
You're still on the early side of the board. You still got a lot of landmines that you gotta avoid.
As long as I avoid Park Place and Broadway, I'm fine.
No, don't avoid those. You have to go through those to get your $200. You need that. That is our draft in our Monopoly metaphor. And it's just, yeah, you can stay there and you can avoid those things, but you're never going to be any better than the other mediocre teams in the NFL. You're never going to do anything. Like, if we started the rebuild years ago, it would have been great, but we're still stuck, and it makes me sad, and there's no hope for the future.
There is hope for the future. There's a lot more hope for the future than you think. I think everybody, I don't know. I'm still of this, the Broncos. I'm not saying playoff run. I'm not saying 500. I'm saying they can get back to a winning mentality by at least pulling out some victories that they probably shouldn't, like Sunday. Sunday, they probably shouldn't have won, even though they did. One missed field goal changes the perspective of that game.
Okay, that's one game though. Like, who cares? One game is not important.
So
right
one
now.
game leads to 2, which leads to 4. Which I'm not saying they're going to go on a 5-game winning streak. I'm just saying that one can start the ball. You have to start somewhere. And if week 8 of the 2023 season is where you start changing that mentality and shifting that team into something, then that's where it starts. Sean Payton goes and gets himself some nasty sushi because he's the only one that doesn't like sushi in his family. But next thing you know, they beat the Chiefs. That ends 2 losing streaks now in a row. The one at home and the one against the Chiefs. You take that into your bye week. You have a whole week on the bye to get everything put together and set up for the rest of the season. And are trades going to be made? Probably. But you have the bye week to get yourself through all of that shenanigans and adjust yourself to continue that ball rolling.
For what? Do you think the Broncos are going to make the playoffs this year?
No, I already said that. I'm just saying you're changing the mentality by getting more wins in here. If you're winning a handful of games, nobody's going to think you can win anything.
I don't care what they think. They're going to win once they have.
I want my players to think they can win. I want them to come in every week and think they can win. I don't want them to think that they're going to lose and, oh my God, by some miracle of the great Lord Jesus Christ, we pulled this one out like we did last week. It's not a miracle. They're not that bad of a team.
Yes, oh my
there's
God,
coach-
this one victory has turned your mindset into fucking mush, Nick.
No.
Like, what is going on? This is a team that should have lost to the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
This is a team that can't stop any running backs. This is the team that is not very good, that has been deprived of first-round draft picks for years. That is the most talented players.
No pity for self-inflicted pain.
First-round draft picks don't always work out.
No pity for self-inflicted pain.
Nick, you're
telling them to keep inflicting it.
You are delusional right now.
I'm not delusional.
You think that winning some more games is going to help because we're going to get
it's going to start.
No, shut up, because we're going to get a few stupid middle of the first round pick, and then what do you have to do? You have to trade more value to move up even further to get the more talented players. Where do these top left tackles typically go that the Broncos need to protect a quarterback? Where do the top quarterbacks go?
Yeah,
where do these players usually go? And so you need to trade your value. Where's your value? A higher draft pick. The lower your draft pick, the more middle of the round it is. I mean, sure, let's just get 15 again. Take another. Oh my God, how about Ashley Lilly at wide receiver to replace freaking whoever, Jerry Jeudy. I don't care. Whoever we lose this year. Like how about that? Let's get another Ashley Lilly in here. Let's take another Noah Fant.
Yeah, another 20.
Like a lower draft pick, Nick, is.
Well, yeah, then they would have had the star tight end out of Iowa that I wanted in the first place. I was pissed off when they didn't pick him.
Because they didn't have the pick. Because they kept winning useless games to prevent getting the player they actually needed. Winning these games actively hurts your team. When the Broncos lost out on Devin White and Devin Bush, it's because they didn't have the ability to take them. When they lost out on TJ Hawkinson and had to take Noah Fant, it's because they won one extra game they should not have won to secure that draft position. And yes, we've seen them squander it when they had the gift of Josh Allen on their doorstep and they took Bradley Chubb instead, who was a quality player, but that's a player you take if you have a quarterback. That's a player you take if you have a team, and we didn't have that here. But even still, the other picks in that draft were highly, touted quality picks too. And you need multiple picks in order to really get that going. What's going to change the culture a lot is guys that just won in college, guys that are really good, guys that are talented, that bring dynamics to your team that you didn't have before.
Right now.
Huh?
So we had that, and he's a pretentious douchebag of a wide receiver right now that we should ship out.
He was the 15th overall pick.
He's also a pretentious douchebag.
And
because he's the 15th overall pick.
He was also the third wide receiver in their pecking order. He wasn't their leader. It starts with the leadership up front too. Guys who have won in college. Yeah. I mean, how many years, Nick, how many years did we clamor and complain about how John Elway never drafted a guy from Alabama?
Oh, I didn't care because I can't stand Alabama anyway.
So you'd rather lose with other players than win with Alabama players?
I just don't like Alabama players. That's all.
Okay, so you'd rather lose.
But they weren't losing without them.
So then accept that we're going to lose this year, because this year is the year to lose, the year to strategically lose and get something. At the very beginning of the year, you don't say the year's over because this hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
But as soon as week 3 happened and the Dolphins completely destroyed our entire chances for the season, it was over. There's nothing that they could do. We were looking at maybe a fringe playoff team at best, and then next year was going to be different anyway, because who's the quarterback going to be? There's so many big question marks they have to try to fill. They still have to pay Russell Wilson, even if he's not the quarterback next year. It's going to be painful, but you have to build from the bottom up. Trying to start at the middle, your foundation is cracked, to use architecture metaphors.
It's too difficult to build from the middle of a draft. And Nick, I'm sorry. I know I'm wearing my Rocky stuff, but have you been hanging out with Dick Monfort?
No.
Seriously, because whatever this juice is that you're drinking, thinking, what is there to tell you that this team in winning games is going to help them in the future? Look at teams that have made these miraculous turnarounds, and it started with high draft picks.
I'm not saying that it's a miraculous turnaround. What I'm saying is you have to have some winning on top of Because if you look at anybody, let's take the Detroit Lions,
Okay.
for example. Lions have been terrible for a number of years.
Mhm.
They had high draft picks. For whatever reason, they couldn't put it together. It is what it is. So they suffered through all that misery with high draft picks and never winning. They went 0-16. So
they got Matthew Stafford from going 0-16.
Yeah, they got Matthew Stafford, and that turned into Matthew Stafford winning a Super Bowl. Oh, that's right, for the Rams.
Yeah, because they didn't build a team around. They didn't build the team up, but they got Ndamukong Suh, they got Nick Fairley, they had a quality team. They went 0-16. They got Matthew Stafford. They became a playoff team. And then even look at the Lions this year. Like,
They're still having an identity crisis.
Last year they were a little bit better for sure, but they were terrible. They got Penei Sewell. They got Jeff Okudah, who sadly got hurt, but he's going to come back and play. Like, they've got number 1 picks on that team, and their lower picks were so much better because they had a high draft position. Amon-Ra St. Brown would not have been there for them if they had won a couple extra games. They would have had to either overdraft him or those draft picks are gold.
They're also in the NFC North. It's weak.
Sure, whatever.
Now it's weak.
Yeah, it wasn't before. It was the Packers with Aaron Rodgers. It was the Vikings with that defense.
You're on top of the mountain doesn't mean you're not gonna.
Okay, so
knock you down.
I mean, okay, so then we can keep going back through this. And where were the Miami Dolphins a few years ago when Ryan Tannehill was their quarterback?
Nowhere.
The laughing stock.
And then they got these picks. They traded a pick. They traded a pick that turned into Tyreek Hill. They got Jalen Waddle. They got Tua Tagovailoa. They got Bradley Chubb. They have a defense
coach out there that can actually coach.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, so the problem is, okay, so if the Broncos keep winning, also, you don't think Sean Payton can coach?
He has yet to prove it to me.
Okay, so if Sean Payton can't coach, then what's the use of Sean Payton winning games? If he wins games, what does he do? Keep his job?
He proves
it. That sounds awful.
No, he proves it to me. He has yet to prove it to me. He's won 2 games.
Yeah.
Cool. You've won 2 games. Prove it to me.
So let's win. Let's win a few more.
With him as the coach of my team for at least the next 2 to 3 years.
Then if you are stuck with him for the next 2 or 3 years, don't you want to give him the best possible opportunity to win?
I want him to do the best he can with what he's given.
Yeah, and he can give himself a top draft pick.
Then tell us that's what you're doing.
You can't say that in the NFL, though.
No, yeah,
you can say it without saying it.
Yeah, you can say it without saying it.
That's the Lions.
I mean, I think,
all right, we're going to circles.
I think they just told you that they're trying to win some games right now, like you want, and we'll see where the draft pick ends up, Nick.
We're going in circles. Let's go ahead and move on to the Avalanche now.
That's a team that knows how to win and rebuild
and
draft
build
up a roster
and develop and win.
Yeah. Oh, those are high draft picks that they got over there, huh?
Yeah, they're what? 15
number 1, number 3,
right now,
number 5. All top 10 draft picks up there. Pretty sure.
It's a pretty good guys.
Along with some amazing signings, right? Yeah. And trades. Look at that.
Yeah,
you trade mid-season and bring some talent in and win yourself a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, but the NHL and the NFL are different as far as trade deadlines go.
They're different. Okay.
They're all bullshit. Oh, Nick, like you're going to say they're the same thing when it comes to the trade deadline. Give me a break. Oh, Nick, you are on something today. I swear. Tell Monfort to stop spiking your whiskey.
We got to write that letter to him still.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, we do. We do.
All right, 15 straight road wins, boys.
Love it.
That obviously dates back to last year where they had 11 straight. Now they're 6-0, and that 6-0 has been different ways. They haven't been completely dominant. They've been dominated for about 59 of the 60 minutes of a game, and they've just pounded the net. I mean, I love that the Avs are giving you the different sides of their personality, but wow, what a team.
No, them winning and getting to this point is huge. Like I said, I went to the game on Saturday against the Hurricanes, and watching them just pour on the goals was awesome. Defense had some mistakes and some lapses, but they had a chance. They took the lead, and then they kept running and didn't take the pressure off, which was really good to see from this team. especially going out against a Carolina team that, these guys weren't playing their backups like I was afraid of. Seeing that from the Avs was one thing, and then last night against the Islanders, getting the lead and giving it up, and then taking it back, and then once again taking over the third period. That was a back and forth that we haven't seen this year with any of the teams, and they just, a back and forth. So it was 4-4 in the third, or maybe it was 5-5.
4-4.
4-4, and ended up being like 6-4 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Looked like way more blood, or 7-4 with another empty netter. But the Avs taking that really to the Hurricanes, and then playing a totally different style of game against the Islanders in New York, in Long Island. Yeah. It's like, it's not New Jersey. It's not like the NFL. They actually play in New York, but Long Island is also considered a different part of New York too.
It's kind of like Colorado.
It's like a borough. Yeah, it's a different borough. Yes. Hey. But to see the Avs win a game that's back and forth, especially on the road, and to get that record of 15 on the road it's huge. It's awesome.
And I think there's nothing more exciting too than just starting 6-0, especially after the way last season ended. The way it ended, those guys, you could just see that last game. There was just that sheer defeat because there was so much going on, and I mean the Nichushkin thing and the injuries, and they felt exhausted at that point, and I can't blame them. But I mean, this team looks so different now. There's that pep in their step. There's the speed again in the skates. I mean, just some of the moves that these guys are making on defenders, and Cale's backhand. I don't even know how he was able to shoot that thing backhanded like he was.
Him McKinnon in the game against Carolina, he put the puck right on Lekkonen's skate, I want to say it was, and it was like right in. Like Lekkonen didn't have to move his skate, and it just boom right in. It's just one of those unreal. You have to be so talented to do that. And let's not forget to give my man Logan O'Connor some love.
LOC, dude.
Lope Dog.
That's the dude we've been needing.
3 straight games with shorthanded goals.
Shoddy.
Tying is seventh person ever to score in 3 straight games a shorthanded goal, and 2 of them are Avs. Sakic
One of them
and
Joe
O'Connor
Sakic.
now. Yeah, phenomenal.
Which kind of shows you how much the game has changed.
I wish Logan would have come out when that was announced, as far as him getting that, and been like, I'd like to thank my teammates for taking those penalties and giving me the opportunity to go ahead and get all these goals. My teammates did a great job of getting in the box so I could get that out there on the ice and get my opportunities. Phenomenal job by them.
Oh, that would have been great. Have a list of guys,
Yeah, everyone who was in the box when he scored.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Josh Manson for that high sticking or whatever. I'm literally making up penalties because I have not watched as much Avalanche this year as I should have. But yeah, I would love that. Just bring out the list.
I think he scored on a McKinnon interference in the game that I was at against Carolina. I'd like to thank Nate Dogg for that interference penalty. You gave me my chance at my 3rd straight shorthanded goal. I appreciate you. Nate Dogg, shout out.
Much love, baby.
That would have been great.
Oh man, it's been fun to watch though. I mean, I can't wait till we get into the meat and potatoes of the season where we can really start diving in. I mean, especially once baseball season's over, like. It is hard to flip between 4 different sports on a night where you're really excited that you have 4 different sports to watch.
You just got to start recording stuff, bro. That's all you can do. You got to stay up later. If you really want to, just bring it all in and absorb all the sports. You're just going to need DVR.
I do have DVR. I just don't want to watch. It's hard to watch it after you get all the updates too, because you're like, crap. Now I got to flip it back.
Well, ignore them.
I can't do that.
The ones you can ignore, the Broncos ones.
Yeah, we can ignore those.
I mean, I was going to ask what you were excited about in what 4th sport you were excited to watch.
Is it tennis?
Well, there was Monday Night Football, there was baseball, there was hockey, and there's basketball.
Oh, I know what was going on Monday.
Monday Night Football was great.
Monday Night Football was great.
Yeah. TJ Hawkinson almost pulled me out of the fire. He didn't. but he almost did.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, and so with that on Monday Night Football, I won and I almost lost one of my fantasy matchups because of Jordan Addison. I came back because I was at Jordan Addison against San Francisco defense.
Yeah.
And then I almost lost because I was up against Jordan Addison with Jake Moody, the kicker for the 49ers. And he missed his first field goal. And then our friend Nate was coming up and almost caught me.
Oh, wow.
So it was. I was like, I found that perfect median in that game in the Monday Night Football game. I won all 5 of my leagues, and I won because of Jordan Addison, and I barely won because of Jordan Addison on another league not getting enough. So it was Monday night was fun. Monday night was
one.
Yeah,
that was exciting.
I lost due to bad karma because I drafted Deshaun Watson in my fantasy league. So I got a whopping negative 1.8. That was, and you know what? I don't even feel bad for myself. I started Deshaun Watson. I deserved it.
Yeah. That is self-inflicted right there.
He's not a good person.
No, he's not. So you know what else was fun? 2 divisional series championships.
Oh, got him.
Going 7 games. And I still haven't found the audio, Colin. I was looking for it last night for a little bit, but
I was talking about liking the Diamondbacks. I know it might have just been beforehand where we were talking about it.
It could have been
the Diamondbacks, man. They did it. I didn't. Okay, it's funny that last week we were sitting here like, well, one of these teams is going to sweep.
Yeah,
who's going to have all the time off? And nope. Both go 7 games. It's basically a completely even series. I mean, the Diamondbacks played one day after the Rangers. Sorry, you got to travel, but Arizona to Texas is not that far.
Not that far.
So this is going to be a very interesting series. I'm excited. I'm excited for it. I'm excited that the 2 teams that had 100 lost seasons just 2 years ago are now in the playoffs.
Wow. Do you think they drafted really high prospects and developed them?
They signed some players. Baseball's a much different.
Baseball's
a much different. Texas. They got this guy named John Gray, who the Rockies didn't seem was going to work out here, and a guy named Max Scherzer and Adolis Garcia. They got
Jordan Montgomery, who the Yankees
said would never get
the playoffs.
Yeah, pretty good. They got some good guys, and but the Diamondbacks built from their farm system for the most part up. Did make some good trades. Marte, I believe, was part of the trade that was
that was the Baumgartner trade, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. I think
good old Mad Bum.
But yeah, they made some good solid moves, and they just built that roster really, really well.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. The Diamondbacks were that team that nobody except Colin and Nick expected to be very good. That are
I know, at least really, you heard it.
That are really just fun to watch, and it's awesome. And the Rangers beat the Dusty off of the Houston Astros, and I think that's pretty awesome too. But shout outs to Dusty Baker. He was, probably the best part of those Astros teams that we all love to hate. Exactly. Every team that you hate has at least one guy somewhere you're like, all right, that guy's okay.
And props to Dusty. And that's he's going to retire. He's definitely Cooperstown bound for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, ain't no doubt about it. He's one of the greats.
Definitely love that guy for sure. Dude, this is going to be a tough series. And I mean, it again shows you both teams got hot at the right time. Because you look at that Phillies D-back series, and I thought it was Phillies all the way because I didn't think the Diamondbacks pitching could recover.
No.
I didn't think they could stop that offense. I thought they were pretty much dead in the water, and it was maybe a 5-game series at most. But, hey, Arizona slapped my mouth and shut me up, so good for you. Did Mad Dog retire, by the way? Did you guys hear that?
Yeah. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Do you know this, Joe?
No.
Nick, you want to tell it or you want me? I don't care.
So
It sounds like Nick wants to tell it.
This is great.
Yesterday,
this is so great.
During a radio segment, Mad Dog was basically saying that the Diamondbacks were not good enough to beat the Phillies in Philly.
So this was 3 days ago.
Diamondbacks won.
Okay.
It was before Game 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Before Game 6. Okay.
Yeah.
If the Diamondbacks won, then Mad Dog would retire on the spot. If the Diamondbacks came back and won the National League Championship. And guess what happened last night?
He didn't retire?
Well,
I haven't heard anything.
He said he did, but he didn't because he was operating a camera on ESPN. But then he was trying to make it sound like it was a radio thing, not a TV thing. And so, I don't know. We'll see because Stephen A. Smith was really turning him into his lackey for a little bit in the morning.
Yeah. If the Diamondbacks come back and win Game 6 and Game 7, I will retire.
You got to do the hand thing, though.
I'm done.
You got to do the hand thing, yeah.
I can't. There's no way they can do it. No, not going to happen.
There you go.
Game 6, Game 7. No, I'll retire on the spot. I can't. So we'll see if he hangs around. But we will do picks for the series on Saturday. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's going to be that tough of a series, and I might just be doing my reverse. I might have talked myself into and out of reverse jinxing the team that I think will actually win.
Why? Because I did the exact same thing. I bet on the Diamondbacks to win Game 5, and what happened? The Phillies won. Game 6 and 7. I'm like, oh, the Phillies clearly have this now. And what happens? The Diamondbacks win. They killed my parlays each time.
Yeah. Okay. Sure, you did, Nick. Well, since we're talking about picking teams, I guess that means
that since we're not.
I guess since we're talking about picking stuff, I guess that means we need to go into, the victory formation, right, Nick?
It's about that time.
Ooh, speaking of segues,
this is the victory formation.
All right, boys, here we go. Best play in football. 6 right tight diamond victory on 1. Break.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
The Pick'em segment, proving that Colin Zanker is the most humble man in the history of time. Least. Featuring Nick Archuleta, wishing he was somewhere else. And Joe Goodwin, just kind of winging it.
And we are here at the victory formation. Well,
I still love that.
Well,
thanks,
Nick,
buddy.
I don't quite know what you're talking about because let's just start the victory formation with the game that you just mentioned, the Phillies over the Arizona Diamondbacks in Game 5. I mean, if you'd like to change what you chose, I could change it because right now I had you as the only one who picked the Phillies out of the 3 of us to win Game 5.
That sounds like Nick.
Yeah,
so
sounds like me.
You just said that you chose Arizona to win Game 5.
On one of my parlays, I did.
Well, you got to trust your first instinct, Nick. You know this with betting.
I know.
No, you had your bet, Colin.
Well, Nick was the only one to get that one right. So first win there. We move on to the other game of baseball that we chose. Every one of us chose the Texas Rangers right there to beat Houston, and we know they came and won 2 straight at plus 100. That netted each of us a sweet $20.
Sweet.
We move on to Sunday night football. Sunday night football. I just put something in the wrong spot here a second ago, so I'm going to fix that. That was the Miami Dolphins against the Philadelphia Eagles. And, well, I was stupid enough to think that Tua and that team could show up and the Dolphins were on a slide. So I lose that, but Nick and Joe both win at minus 148. They got 1676 profit.
Whoa.
And Monday Night Football, the San Francisco 49ers, not the San Francisco Giants. But if it was the Giants, they would have lost to the Minnesota Vikings also. And that would be only Nick and I picking the Vikings over the 49ers without their star first-round left tackle Trent Williams playing and a banged-up first-round draft pick in Christian McCaffrey not playing up to all of his abilities. But if you're following along, folks,
I am.
that means that one of us went 4-0.
It wasn't me.
Mr. Nick Arch got a 4-0 week.
Oh my God! I did it again.
He did it again, and with that, Nick's the big winner this week, winning 90-45. Still in third place overall, but I was second with 36. Joe in third with 1676. All profit, baby. But Nick in third place with that $90 is just a little bit behind Joe. He's at 345.80. Joe, you're at 389.49 on the year, and I am at 883.31. But in 1 week, you went from over $120 down to about $45 down, Nick, in just 1 week of 4 picks, catching up in a perfect week.
That's all it takes.
Oh man! Don't ask anybody. Don't ask me how I pulled that off because.
Hey Nick, how'd you pull that off?
Yeah,
I told you
happy to be here.
I'm just happy to be here.
You trust your instinct, you trust your gut with what you pick, and then you go with it on the other ones. I'm telling you, I've told everybody we've all made a profit this year, and these are only $10 fictitious bets. That we're having fun with, so it doesn't have to be a lot of money you're putting out there. But Nick was almost in the red just like a month ago.
It was like $8
or 2 months ago. Yeah, he had like a few dollars left, and a few weeks back, he's already back up over $300, in fake profit. But it goes to show you that any given week. So we will have on Saturday's show some baseball predictions, or on our next show, which will be out Saturday, we will let you know if we are doing it live or not, or how we're going to work it out. But we'll have some baseball. We'll obviously have NFL in there, and then we'll see if there's a little something else going on that might make things interesting. Try and throw Nick off his roll.
Buffs come back.
I can't have anyone taking my throne of perfection.
That's 2 weeks in a row too.
2 weeks in a row?
No, I think it was.
I was
3-0 like 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Oh yeah. No, or actually no. Last week you were perfect. Yeah, you had Bills.
Was it last week?
Yep, Bills, Cowboys, Rangers.
Well, you're perfect anyway, Nick.
The week.
Thanks, Joe.
Too. That's all right. I have enough of a lead that I'm not worried yet.
Not yet.
I just try to be consistently inconsistent.
Got 2 months.
I think I was only perfect one time, but fuck it, I'll take it.
I got 2 months to hold you guys off. So
you have 2 months and $500 to hold us off. Let's be real here.
There was a $100 turnaround today.
Okay, all we need is 4 more of those. We got this, Nick.
There you go.
We got it. Yep, we got him.
What could possibly go wrong?
I mean, technically, if you guys get $100 wins and I get $100 losses, that's a $200 swing real quick.
Yeah, it is real quick.
That is math.
It is. It's betting math.
Those are numbers, folks. You heard it here first.
I thought that's what we got in the radio.
I mean, as you guys can tell,
that's not why we do the betting segment, though.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, gentlemen, that's been fun. Thank you for going live. That was something different and entertaining, and I think we should probably do this more often.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Got the little cue, so let me give our thank you to Michael Spillin and all the crew over at e5280sports.com for having us on their network. While you're there, don't forget to check out their other shows like The Wheelhouse Between the Lions and Gridiron Intel. There's also many others. You never know. Once in a while, you might see one of our goofy mugs on one of their shows as well.
You could. There's always a possibility.
I have a goofy mug right here.
If it actually had Goofy on it, that would be pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
No, I'm not that cool. That'd be so
I might go to a training in oh no, that's in Vegas. Never mind. I was trying to get one to Florida. I'll go to Disneyland and get you a Goofy mug.
I love Goofy. My favorite version of Evanescence, Bring Me to Life, is sung by Goofy.
Oh, Lord.
It's beautiful. Look it up.
Okay.
So for the
Wake
eccentric
me
Joe
up!
Goodwin and the amazing, profitable Colin Zanker, I'm Nick Archuleta. This has been the Undrafted Uncensored.
Live, baby!
Sports.com,
Not
Instagram,
yet.
Facebook, and now Twitter. We'll get the Twitter out there.
We're not
Probably
going to call
tomorrow.
it the other thing. It's still Twitter. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, I'm calling it Twitter too.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.